Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Monday, February 26th. My Rise of the Tomb Raider video just aired on my channel. So with the new Tomb Raider movie coming out, I scheduled it around the Rise of the Tomb Raider coverage. I'm hoping that that might get me some more views, but in all honesty, that's never really worked on my channel. Like, who knows? Who knows? YouTube's changing every day. I need 2 more victories with Mage or Shaman. I've been playing Mage, and it's been working, but mostly just because of network issues. So let's just go over here and play a Overload Shaman deck. What's weird here is I don't have I don't really have too much to talk about on the news, but probably a little bit more to do. I'm looking at this website called What's on Steam. We keep up with every game launched, every single game launched in a bite-sized capsule, updated every 10 minutes. Oh, I thought it said 10 a.m., but it's 10 and then the letter M, which they should just put the word minutes or something else. So every 10 minutes they check. So the latest game right now is a game called QLORB2, and it launched an hour ago. It looks like a horrible graphics piece of garbage puzzle game. The game that launched also an hour ago was The Haunting of Billy. Action Alien Prelude launched 2 hours ago. It looks a little bit better, but that could certainly be deceptive. Looks like a first-person shooter in a desert environment. A game called One Bullet Left. It looks like just Counter-Strike Go ripoff. Don't Touch the Walls looks like a horribly animated piece of junk game. A game called Vicious Attack Llama Apocalypse that launched 4 hours ago. The question here would be, which game of this list of games is it actually worth looking at, and what's the percentage of games? Because in all honesty, I could probably just scroll down all of this content here and be moderately happy just to have all the names of the games listed, and then I'll have to do all the research. 5 hours ago, a Korean game that there was an article about this called Soul Worker was launched with little fanfare. It's free to play though, so there's a game called Blind Bulls, one called FUKTOPA PIA. I won't dare to pronounce that out loud because I'm pretty sure the way you pronounce it would get me in trouble. 5 hours ago, a game called Voxel World was published. It's Minecraft ripoff, completely. So you'd have to do some major editorializing here to find anything worth playing. There's one called Fierce Tales Feline Sight Collections Edition, which is a hidden object game. There's a poorly animated visual novel game called Radiant Melodia 8 hours ago. It's a game called Hexaturn that looks like a game I've already played. Game Lots of Balls came out 8 hours ago. Putin 20 exclamation point 8, so not 2018, but exclamation point Thunderbolt. Space Simulator looks like a global space program ripoff. In fact, it looks so much like a Kerbal Space Program ripoff that I'm not sure if these assets weren't stolen. A game called Enshrouded World came out 118 days ago according to the list, and yet it's in between 11 hours ago and 15 hours ago. Which means that they changed their release date, probably. Never Stop Sneaking came out 17 hours ago. That's a game we've talked about. Far too many of this content is not worth mentioning. Like, and see, that's the thing, is if I were to be able to integrate this into my Twitter feed in such a way that I was getting a comment or mention every time there was a new game, or every 10 minutes, I would then just have a bunch of names of games where a good 90 to 80% of the games are not worth mentioning, not worth looking at. Mount Your Friends 3D came out 3 days ago. It doesn't... one of the things that I guess to mention here is this is a game that this what's on Steam.com does help show a level of how do you say this? I could kill one of these guys, or I can attack the face. I'm trying to get victory, so I want to attack the face. I could have hit this guy and then do it, play that over. Steam hasn't hit the point where it is completely flooded. Well, it is completely flooded, but it's not always getting new things according to this website. It seems like it is getting way too many things. Here's a game called Conrad the Kitten that came out 3 days ago. Honestly, this one looks like it might be something slightly interesting. I guess what I have to do is favorite the site and think about if I wanted to change how I covered games. If money was no object and I wanted to cover brand new games that were not being talked about at all, what's on Steam.com is the perfect place for that. I can beat people like Total Biscuit to covering games. I could beat most people from covering games, but it would be at a very high price and it would take a lot of time. Pre-recorded footage would probably not work at all. You can only go back as far as 4 days, so you really would have to have some kind of Twitter feed or look at this website every single time. They also have a tweets system. Every time a game launches on Steam, we cut a 6-second micro trailer. Follow at micro trailers forever. Oh, so what's on Steam's Twitter handles at micro trailers, which that's, but then they also have what's on Steam, so we'll follow that. I don't know if you're really even gonna be desirous to watch 6 seconds of most games. But there is my process, my very awkward process in which I try out new websites and try to get more and less biased sources for news that I can then report there. Yeah, I've got somebody on the chat. Let's see. Port message.
They'll serve me now.
Nope, nope, what did I do? So, YouTube live chat has all these filtering things by default that I turned off. Of course, this is exactly the type of person that. There we go. Report. And we can just go ahead and block. Spam people on the chat. Of course, the way things go is that the messages still show up in my videos because of just how things go. What's funny about the spam there is that the person, it wasn't a bot, it was clearly somebody just trolling, putting sexually explicit things in the comments, and then in their second comment they said your deck is trash, and I'm like, okay. To respond to my deck is trash, sure. Yeah, this is my Asian account. It's only been a few months, and it clearly takes years and years in Hearthstone, or spending a lot of money that I'm not willing to spend to get those things. To get your decks to the point where they're not bad. Let's see.
Greetings, friend.
We may have to go back to the mage deck. There's something hashtag MWC18, which I thought that's Mobile World Conference 18. I thought more of that would be video game related, but because I was seeing some articles from the Mobile World Conference about video games, but I guess most of it really is just more revolving around cell phones. Like, here's a cell phone that looks kind of like a banana. Seems like one person is using this hashtag a lot more than anybody else, which often is the case. And how many people are actually even searching hashtags on Twitter? That's certainly another issue. Yeah, so I don't really need to look at the Mobile World Conference. My reporting can pretty much stand on the Mobile World Conference is going on. They announced the Samsung Galaxy S9, I know, and it still has a 3.5mm jack for audio. You know, they would certainly convince me a lot better to abandon the 3.5mm jack if it was replaced with something else instead. But right now, the replacement is to buy a lightning cable headphone thing or a Bluetooth device, and that's not really what I would want. Like, I totally would get if you took a 3.5mm jack and flattened it instead of it being round. That would be cool. I don't know how you get to that point. It probably wouldn't be too hard actually, because if you had a flat like lightning cable type circuit board connector, something just flat like that, and you plugged a 3.5mm jack sideways into that and then plugged that adapter into a little slot on the phone, you could make the phones thinner and solve what they claim is the thing that they're trying to fix by getting rid of the jack. Also, that would work well for yanking cords. It's possible that you could make a flat slot adapter that worked directly with something like a USB-C connector, or right above or below a USB-C connector, or to the side. I don't know if that really is the reason, however, that they are trying to get rid of the jack. I think it is just because Apple wants to sell more AirPods. Think I've got a victory here. Gamer Sutra has an article called "Learn to Better Understand Your Player's Social Values" at GDC 2018. Everyone who attends the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco next month will have access to a fantastic array of talks about the art and business of making games, including particularly relevant ones from the League of Legends developer Riot Games on how to better understand your players' values, which that'll be slightly interesting.
Thank you. Hiya, friend.
You just lost? This is more important than ever because game developers need to think globally when they are considering their players, all of whom have different backgrounds and different social values. So Riot Games is the Chinese company. I've tinfoil hatted and conspiracy talked a lot about how Chinese companies are trying to gain influence and change the video game industry. Here we have a Gamer Sutra article where they are directly admitting that's what they're trying to do. That they're going to say, you need to make games that appeal to the Chinese market and the Chinese way of thinking. And the Chinese way of thinking is, by the way, the Chinese government's way of thinking. And let's continue down this article. In their advocacy track talk on understanding the social values of your player, Riot Games' Tash Elliott and Jeffrey Brewer will discuss the extensive research Riot has done to understand the underlying social values their players have across the world, lessons learned, and how they applied information to create meaningful social impact campaigns. And what do they mean by meaningful social impact campaigns? Are they trying to make the players quote-unquote less toxic? Are they trying to make them nicer? Are they trying to make everybody have a better time? Is that the environment for League of Legends right now? Or is League of Legends just an average game with the average amount of trolls in it? Tragic Master says, good game. Thank you, Tragic Master. Together they show the importance of having an evidence-based strategy and a framework for video game social impact campaigns, and how it can yield meaningful results than just selecting charities that have the word game in their name. So maybe they're talking specifically social impact campaigns. In their instance might just be that they were picking charities and giving money to them. It promises to be an intriguing talk on a timely and relevant issues from many game makers, so don't miss it. And more details on this and other announcements are at the GT Game Developer Conference 2018 season schedule. This is a post on Gamasutra by who posted it? By the staff. They don't even list who posted it. They don't give credit. And it is mentioned here at the bottom that Gamasutra and the GDC are sibling organizations under the parent company of UBM Americas. So take that with a grain of salt too. I'll be interested when this talk happens to hear what this talk really is, because so many times I have seen titles that mean one thing or sound like they mean one thing, and then turns into something completely different once somebody takes the stage. The intended audience for this speech is anyone interested at the crossroads for social impact in video games, CSR practices, cause marketers, serious game designers, and advocacy professionals. To be fair, I was just ranting earlier about how I think they should probably, the video game industry probably should donate to mental health programs for children for good PR, instead of risking getting taxed to do the same. And they should try to get some of the blood and some of the violence out of some games that don't need it. You can't do that with Doom, you can't do that with Wolfenstein, but you can try to get it out of some of the other games. Also, you can just in general try to greenlight some games that aren't violent games. Like, non-violent games don't have to equal indie games, and right now they kind of are only indie games, and that doesn't make enough sense. Your Gamer has an article, Metal Gear Survive flops at UK retailer. These numbers are pretty laborious. Let's see. Metal Gear Survive is in 65th place, just days after the launch, behind H1Z1, Europa Universalis 4, and Human Fall Flat. Also, I believe H1Z1 had like its 4-year anniversary, and they've done like nothing at all in those 4 years, which that really sucks for anybody who bought H1Z1. Although it may not have been H1Z1 that I saw somebody talk about that on Reddit. It sold 85%, Metal Gear Survive sold 85% fewer copies than Metal Gear Solid 5 did. It's the top 10 the day it came out, it was in number 6, with only the competition of Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet in 37th place. So it did have some notoriety in its first day. It's just that people played it and really didn't like it.
I wonder.
What in the world? It seems like he just managed to kill all of my minions and replace them with, or move all my minions to his side. Also, Metal Gear Survive related, a secret message was hidden as an Easter egg that translates to, well, no, it's in English, but the first initial of the last names of a bunch of people on a piece of paper says KJP forever, which KJP's is assumed to mean Kojima Productions, and then the word forever. So a little bit of a secret message there. Let's do this. And then do this. And then do this. PC Gamer has an article that says CD Projekt Red touts Cyberpunk 2077 as a blockbuster franchise. CEO Adam Kaczynski said Cyberpunk is our new Witcher 3. Let's not forget that the accusations against the CEOs and the upper management at CD Projekt Red is that they don't listen to or follow any recommendations of any of the lower employees. So if the CEO is saying it's their next CD Witcher 3 and it's a big blockbuster, there might be some disagreement there. We'll see when it comes out. The hype train for Cyberpunk 2077 is unjustified because that game is not anywhere near. It's really just at the beginning of production as far as I can tell. So advertisement for it is just going to get way overhyped, and then we're going to end up with, in my opinion, it will probably be a 20-hour game, single player experience. It'll be very similar in quality to let's go ahead and go back to Mage. I imagine it'll be very similar to the quality of Witcher 3, but not really any better, and it will be at least 4 years since Witcher 3 had come out at that point, so there won't be a generational increase. I would hope that Cyberpunk 2077 doesn't just take all of the elements that were in The Witcher 3 and make Cyberpunk versions of those elements, but instead does something very different and tries something new.
You asked for it.
One would hope. The idea would, I guess the idea would be for CD Projekt Red to release Cyberpunk 2077, it'd be a success, and then it have enough time to make a Cyberpunk 2077 2, and do a good job on that. And in the meanwhile of that, the next Witcher game comes out, so they could have this alternating release schedule where every 1 to 2 years there's another CD Projekt Red game that comes out. They're both good, kind of like Skyrim and Fallout. If Skyrim and Fallout were always good games to play, which sometimes they aren't, and on the other hand, Skyrim and Fallout are both way too long games. PC Gamer has the best JRPGs on PC. I don't know why this article is getting re-released, because I'm pretty sure they did an article like this earlier, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they did the best RPGs on PC, and so now this is them saying specifically Japanese RPGs because we excluded or didn't include a lot of those. So let's go through this list. Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age. Graphics look a little bad, but not too bad. Interestingly, it goes to a Humble Store link for Humble Store affiliates for $50 instead of going directly to Steam, because they want that affiliate money That's all this really is. Near Automata, another humble store link. Yep. I see what they're doing now. Final Fantasy IX. I wonder if they're just going to put out another this same article every 2 weeks or so. In attempts to get people to click links. Valkyria Chronicles, Tales of Bersa, Disgaea 2 PC, Barkley Shut Up, and Jam Gaiden. Well, that one actually isn't on Steam, it doesn't seem. Seems to be, you have to go to their official website for that one. Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden. South Park The Stick of Truth. Seriously, that's not a JRPG. How in the world are you gonna call South Park The Stick of Truth a JRPG? It's not created particularly for a Japanese market. It's not animated or mostly by, or it's not fully written, created by mainly Japanese people. Like, in no way does that make it, is it Japanese? Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X-2, Resector, Recettear, an item shop's tale. Apparently this one's not even on the humble store. Cosmic Star Heroine. I don't know why you'd want to play that. And Ys the Oath of Fel Gahana. And the Legend of Heroes Trails of the Sky SC. So this is only ever so slightly a different list than the one they did before.
I wonder.
Completely designed to get affiliate links for PC Gamer. So maybe PC Gamer is low on money. Because it seems like they're getting a little desperate there. Free-to-play hack and slasher Soul Worker has entered open beta. This is a Korean free-to-play hack and slash MMO, which that's interesting on one thing, because we really do, as a video game world, need to start drawing some tight lines between whether something is Japanese or Korean or Chinese, because it's gonna start mattering in the level of quality and slight differences. Korean MMOs, for instance, have a tendency to be less moe cutesy anime and more of a older age anime characters. The animation is slightly different. Like moe cutesy anime meaning younger looking characters. The Korean MMOs have a tendency to show a little bit more skin and not care as much about other markets at all. Although that's slowly starting to change. Let's see. Like one of these characters in the trailer as I'm watching for this Soul Worker game is in very skimpy, torn up clothing. Let's see. It's got 89% of 66 users rating it very positive. Let's see. There's 4 characters shown in the screenshots, and then one character, the torn up clothing character, and another character might be enemies. I don't know why you would want to make a hack and slash MMO game. That's something they have been doing, though it's better than, I guess, the RPG thing sort of, but the elements are pretty similar. Like, usually it is a hack and slash with RPG elements versus a turn-based RPG, or a timer-based RPG game. Yep, there's this long white-haired lady with a shirt that barely covers her cleavage and a bikini bottom and crazy outfits. A lot of skin there that would get covered up if this wasn't on PC. There's a picture of a big old vortex, and then a zoomed out picture I can barely even see with a bunch of people. There's no full audio anything for any language, as far as, well, let's see. No, there is full audio for Korean, and everything else has interface and subtitles. English is available there.
What to do? What to do?
Cast a spell. I want to cast a spell.
I could have played that if I was smarter. And I should have killed this guy.
One's out.
I keep screwing up. I keep screwing up terribly. This open beta, like, I don't know why you'd want to get into an open beta of a game like this. Let's see. The first review here is happy to see this game on Steam. I played 100 hours on the Japanese version last year, and I really enjoyed my time. I hope GameForge doesn't ruin this. It's launch day, the servers are not working, but the loading music is gachi-gasm. Huh. Whatever that means. This game has 3 genders, male, female, and Stella. I recommend. Finally, after 6 years of waiting, it's officially out. Some history. This is a Korean MMO that was developed since 2008 and released in 2011-12, then later open beta to Japan. With such an attractive art style and gameplay style, and a fan sub-patch was updated daily for a while for English players that wish to play through VPN services. After years of waiting, it is officially out. Oh, okay. I can see that there has been some large build-up and interest in this game. He's about to lose. Let's see. Cel-shaded art style was ahead of its time in 2011 with very attractive visuals, and still holds its own above other MMOs of the same bland, low texture styles today. The only thing I found on par to the style was Honkai Impact 3, Guilty Gear, and DBZ Fighters. Alright, so the art, according to this review, is good. Combat is very effing fluid. Let's skip because this is the wrong thing. Progression is very contained per character, with the cap being level 50, I think. Unsure if they increase the cap on the KR or Japan. It's easier to get into than Kritika or Closers, in my opinion. Being a free-to-play game, there's a cash shop, but it's 95% cosmetic for your character room. Not sure how much GameForge can mess it up, but this game is solely player versus everyone, so there's no major gameplay advantage in throwing cash in it. And they mentioned GameForge, that is the publisher where the developers line games. This is a free-to-play thing, so I can just click it on my follow list, and if any of that interests you, that's good to know. And see, I'm gonna run out of news here before I run out of things to do, so we're gonna have a silent play show. Let's play on casual and see if we can get a victory there. We were getting victories because of disconnects, and all of a sudden the internet starts working. I've decided it's time to mute exophase.com's Twitter feed. Exophase is a gaming community that specializes in trophy and achievement tracking, complete with dedicated profiles and game cards. It combines your gamer score from Xbox and PS4 and Steam. It's a cool idea, but their Twitter is just them talking about how they added achievements for new games, and I don't really need that on my feed. It's not as informative as you will find or would have thought. There's a game that has caught my attention called Forgotten Anne. It's a PC Gamer has an article called Forgotten Anne is a gorgeous offbeat adventure where a talking sloth threatens you with a shovel. It's this game where you're sucking the magic out of things, and it looks kind of like a point-and-click adventure puzzle game. It's misspelled forgotten, apparently. Forgotton space ANNE. It's on Steam. It's one of those games that I would probably play instantly if I could afford it. It's probably we're kind of in a bit of a rut right now, I would say, with new games. Nothing big is coming out. Nothing's probably going to come out for a while. February is, I think, the first month in which you could start to take a break if you've done your quarterly financial reports, and so there's no real reason for video game companies to release something new in February. And so you've got what looks like a AA game that's very nicely animated coming out, and that's kind of it. I don't even know what the next thing is coming out that's big would be. Like, yeah, I can't even think of anything. Most people are just playing PUBG. This is not working well. Well, I may get a victory here just because the other character's not the other guy's not playing. So yeah, Forgotten Anne's on my wish list. That is a little scary. That now that I think about it, I don't know of a single game that's coming out that's big, and that may mean we're in for a dry spell until E3 happens several months from now. Yeah, I really can't even think of anything. This might be the beginning, very possibly might be the beginning of the games of service bubble, which Jim Sterling talked about falling apart. Where games like Destiny and what is it? The Order? No, not The Order. Well, games like Destiny, for example, where it's a games as a service that they were going to constantly add content. We may have hit the point where that doesn't work anymore. And you just can't pull the attention. I could have probably won right then. You can't pull the attention of people to continue to play your game as a service. There very possibly were some Microsoft games that should have come out right about now. Crackdown 3, if it was coming out in a week, that would have been great. Just win. Gamasutra has an article designing side quests studying these 7 games and some Chris Avalone pointers. Let's see if we can contribute to this as we switch over to the European account. Actually, I'm in a very weird position here. Like, I wasn't intentionally going to do this one, but it's right at the point where I almost certainly will complete this quest next time I play on my Asian account. We're at 4,300 gold, so 50 packs almost certainly are going to be purchased in the next expansion for the Asian account. 50 packs probably for the other account too, the European account, and 50 packs probably for the American account too. Also, so 150 card pack opening of different things. Let's see. I can't trade any of these, so I need to get Hunter. If I get 3 victories with the Hunter, I will get 2 victories with the Hunter, and that means I don't even need to do that one. So Hunter games. But before we do that, let's break up this recording again. It's been another 45 minutes. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me, gift me a game or a gift card from on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.